Hello, my friends. So I think I fixed the problem with the voice. There was a problem with the microphone. I think I fixed it. So you probably can hear me right now. So the show must go on, and I hope everything works really nice right now. So I was talking about how important 2020 it is as a year. It is a great year because it's going to bring a lot of changes, a lot of fundamental um, important changes that has to do with our personal life, but also has to do with how we work with the ideas of money, of power, of living others be with close to us. I think 2020 is a great year because it's going to change the way we understand things, the way we are communicating with others, but also I think this is a great year because it's going to change the way we are developing our own selves. I think this is a great opportunity in order to understand what really happens in our lives, but also I think this is a great year because it is going really to change in a very multiple ways what really happens in our life. First of all, we have six eclipses. Six eclipses in just one year. Although, of course, this is not something that happens rare, but it is a very important amount of eclipses in just one year that is going to tell us a lot of things about what is going to change in our lives. And we're going to talk soon about how those six solar and lunar eclipses are going to change our everyday life. Also, at the same time, we have three personal planet retrogradations. Of course, Mercury is, sorry, forming, is doing retrogradations every year about three times. But we have Venus and we have Mars. We have both personal planets that they are going to go retrograde through these years through this year, and it's going to change rapidly how we are communicating with our relationships. Also, what I think is very important is that we are going to have very important beginning of new cycles. For example, we have the Saturn Pluto conjunction, the Jupiter Pluto conjunction, and also we are going to face the Jupiter Saturn conjunction, which happens at the end of the year, and I think it is the most important and the most fascinating conjunction for this year. But as I said already in my previous shows in ISA, what I found very disturbing sometimes is that there is a sense that this 2020 is going to bring the end of the world and that everything is going to collapse and angels are going to come in from the sky and very very dramatic predictions about what is going to happen in 2020. I don't believe that we are going to have these radical changes in this year. Of course, we are going to have some very serious changes and we are going to understand the world in a very different manner, but I don't believe that we are going to have this radical, extreme change in 2020. Some astrologers speak about the end of the era of Pisces and the beginning of the era of Aquarius. I think this is also a little mumbo jumbo. I don't believe really in that. But we should not also expect something very terrifying, like for example the collapse of the Soviet Union that happened in 1988 through 1991, because the cycles that were happening through those years, the Saturn Uranus, the Uranus Neptune, and etc., all these cycles were much more important, and they are much more rare than the planetary cycles we are going to have in 2020. Yes, we are going to have inequality within our social systems, we are going to have problems in our finance, we are going to have some wars or some problems in having money or giving food to people, but I don't believe that we're going to meet these radical extreme events, like for example what happened in the 1990s, the collapse of the Soviet Union. I think this is an overestimate, that is not going to happen. Of course 2020 is a year that is going to bring a lot of changes, a lot of radical ways of thinking, and I think a lot of us, we are going to feel threatened. We are going to feel threatened, and sometimes we are going to feel afraid of things. And it's not bad to feel afraid. The problem is not to believe that the fear is so important not to live your life. That, I think, is the most important thing we need to understand. So yes, we are going to have fear, we are going to have obstacles, we are going to feel that things are not work as we want to, but at the same time I think this is the most important year, because within cycles this is the beginning of a transformation of what really means being free in your life. Of course 2020, with so many planets in the sign of Capricorn, is going to bring severe changes, and it's going to feel for most of us that we are isolated, that the governments want to control us, that we cannot act in a free way, and perhaps in some way we may feel that others are manipulating us, or that we do not feel that we are having the complete control of what we need to do. Okay, we know that. It is already happening. We know that. Capricorn is a very strong sun sign, and it is a sign of being very strong and very serious, and having control and manipulating others, and having the authority, because Capricorn and Saturn is always about having the authority of the things. But I don't believe that we are going to face the end of the world or the end of the financial situation. I think sometimes the astrologers should look things carefully and not terrorize people. Astrology is not about terrorize people, it's about bringing a new dimension, about understanding the basic concepts of life and changing your own behavior in order to be more at peace with yourself, but also with the others. So why 2020 is important? Is important because we have 6 eclipses. Is important because we have 2 important retrogradations of Venus and Mars, which are rare retrogradations. They are not happening every year. They are the only planets that they do not go retrograde every year. And also because we have 6 important eclipses and 3 important new cycles: the Saturn Pluto, the Jupiter Pluto, and the Jupiter Saturn cycle, which I think it is going to change rapidly the society in so many ways in the next year. And we should look more carefully on what really happens in our life. But what I found really fascinating when I'm seeing this year is that a lot of us, we are going to change rapidly on how we understand the world. Of course, we know that the major planetary cycles, they are going to happen around the 3rd decade of the cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, especially on the 3rd decade. But that doesn't mean that you have to have the sun or the moon or the ascendant. Perhaps you have Mercury, Venus, Mars, or even the ascendant. Of course, the ascendant is very important. The ascendant, the midheaven, or your vertex, or your part of fortune. This is a year that you are going to feel rapid changes in your life. So yes, 2020 is not an easy year. Of course, it's not an easy year, because the third decade has to do with things of endings. Saturn Pluto is a conjunction that brings endings. This is the core concept of Saturn and Pluto. It's about destroying whatever you feel that is going to make you feel safe. You are going to change, you are going to transform, and you are going to change rapidly the way you understand your life. This is about Saturn Pluto. And I think that many astrologers try to, give a very positive way of thinking about this Saturn Pluto conjunction, but this is not about being happy. The main problem with this Saturn Pluto conjunction is trying to close your eyes and saying, oh no, I'm very happy, everything is happy, I'm completely happy, nothing happens. This is the first trap. The first trap of the Saturn Pluto conjunction on the third decanate of Capricorn, that is going to affect the third decanate of Aries, of Cancer, of Libra, and of Capricorn, is that I'm closing my eyes. All these problems are not mine. These are not my problems. I have my own, and I'm going to solve it because they're not very important. So it has to do with closing your eyes and not understanding what really happens in your life. This is, I think, the first problem with this planetary cycle. The next problem is that you may feel devastated, or you may feel that you've lost. I think that, and I've said that already in previous astrological voyages, so that we may believe that there is no hope, that we are destined for destruction, that there is nothing that can save us. This is an error. This is not true. We need to fight this belief. We need to transform our fears and understand that no matter how hard we may live right now in our lives, we can fight back and we can change it. Because this is what we call a cognitive trap. A cognitive trap is that you believe that you are going to have a failure and you are going to make it too. So with this Saturn Pluto conjunction, we are strongly leaning towards depression, feeling bad, feeling that we are not worthy, that things are going to get lost. And this is not true. Do not allow yourselves to fall in this cognitive trap. There is always hope. Yes, Saturn Pluto conjunction is not about being happy, is not about being on a great party. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that people that are going to get affected by this Saturn Pluto conjunction, they are going to say, I'm feeling so happy. No, this is not going to happen in your life. But having problematic periods in your life, having obstacles, having difficulties is the reason why you're going to change finally, and you're going to become a better person. You are not going to become a better person just by feeling well, because when you're feeling well means that everything is running smoothly. When something is not running smoothly, something goes bad, and that has to do with our personalities and with the situations we are having around our life. So I think this is a very important conjunction, this Saturn-Pluto conjunction that is going to happen on the 12th of January 2020, and it's going to affect the 21st, 22nd, 23rd degree of Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, I think this is a great opportunity in finding finally what is really important in your life, and not closing your eyes and expect the unexpected. Try to fight back. Believe in yourself, and you are going to change. And you are going to feel that you are in tune with your emotions, and you can really fight back and win and feel successful, and do not feel that things are not going to change. The major cognitive trap with this Saturn Pluto is that there is no hope, so you have to surrender to my own power. And this is a trap, this is not truth. Try to fight back, try to show yourself through this perfectionist conjunction, because this Saturn Pluto conjunction is a perfectionist conjunction, that you can deal with problems, that you can fight back, that you are strong, that you can transform things, that you are not just what the stars are telling for you, which is, I think, also a very important message, because sometimes we believe that whatever the planetary systems say to us, this is what is going to happen. This is not true again. We are by far more complicated beings than just natal charts. Believe me, I am a professional astrologer since 2004, professional astrologer and psychologist. I've seen so many people in these 15 years, now it is 16, and I strongly believe that you are not just your natal chart. You are by far more complicated, rich, and fruitful, and much more interesting than just a natal chart. So if something goes back in your natal chart, means that something doesn't work, but that doesn't mean that nothing works in your life, and you can fix it, and you can build it, and you can change your life. So Linda, if you have a planet in the 24th of Libra, that means that things are going to change for you. You are going to change the perception you have for the world, or perhaps you're going to change your personality, or how you communicate with others. If you have planets around those degrees, means that you're going to change and transform and redesign your future, because Saturn Pluto is about having a devastating power that is going to obliterate anything. But after that, something new is going to rise, something great and something really powerful, that we are going to feel really safe and complete. Don't forget the planetary system, the astrological principles that we are learning. They are not a mean masochist that wants to inflict pain to us. No, every problematic situation means that something does not work, so you need to change, and you need to redesign your behavior, and most of all, you need to redesign your own self, which is, I think, the most important thing. You have Venus in this position, means that you're going to change the way you understand people, how you acquire or how you express your love, and also how you deal with your financial matters. You're going to have rapid changes in those two very important factors of your life. So if you are having Venus in a house that has to do with love, means a new love, or the end of an old love and the beginning of something new, and also may bring some severe changes in your financial situation. Then we are having the eclipses. We have so many eclipses this year, and I think this is a very important message for what really happens in the world. On the 10th of January 2020, we have an eclipse, a lunar eclipse that is going to happen in the 20th degree exactly. I think this is an eclipse that is going to bring a lot of changes to every person that has planets from the 90th degree of Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn till the 23rd degree of those signs. So we talk about the end of the second decade of the cardinal signs and the beginning of the third decade of the cardinal signs. This is of course about transformation. This is about getting in a very constructive way and finding your truth, finding your way on dealing with things. And I think what is really important is that this eclipse is about endings. And it's not bad, you know, it's not bad having an ending. For example, you may end a very bad emotional situation that you are feeling being abused by your partner, or perhaps a sickness, a very serious sickness, and finally, and you're free of finding things exactly that they are proper for you, and you are going to feel completed finally in your life. So this is not always bad. Having an ending is not always bad. It may bring very important things and may bring happiness and a sense of being complete and being extraordinary, fascinating by these changes and these endings. Of course, some people with this eclipse, they are going to be affected, and let's don't forget that this eclipse is going to affect us for about a month. This eclipse is already affecting us. It started from the 19th of December 2019 and is going to affect us till the 10th of February 2020. I'm sorry. That means that this is a great eclipse in order to change and transform, but at the same time, this is an eclipse that has to do with endings. Endings of relationships, endings of professional work, endings in various matters that we need to redefine ourselves, change the way we understand what really happens in our life. And don't forget that this eclipse also uses the Saturn-Pluto conjunction to manifest things. So what is this manifestation? This manifestation is about completely changing whatever happens in your life and finding your real truth, the inner truth, and then helping yourself being happy. For example, you may have a very abusive relationship, and through this abusive relationship you do not feel well. This relationship may end. That doesn't mean that it is bad. It may be, on the contrary, a great opportunity to feel complete and happy finally in your life, which is, I think, the most important thing. Because yes, sometimes having an ending may not be very cool, but at the same time it may be the redemption of your life. So I think this is really a point of redemption. Yes, things are going to stop. Things are going to die. I'm not talking about real death. I'm an astrologer, not a psychic terrorist, okay? I'm not talking about real death. But things are going to die. They are going to change. They are going to transform. This is what Saturn Pluto is about. You cannot talk about Saturn Pluto and saying that nothing is going to change. Everything is going to change, of course, during this period. But if you have planets around this period of your life, means that you have the guts to finally have control of your life. This is something that we forget. Saturn Pluto is about control, is about finding your own way through several difficulties. So you can really find your way, redefine yourself, and finally be true. Look at the mirror. Look at the mirror. After this show, you can, if you have time, look yourself at the mirror and say, am I happy with what I'm seeing right now? This Saturn Pluto, I think, conjunction is about finding why you are not happy, ending this thing that is not making you happy, and then finding happiness. This is not an easy way. There is no easy way with Saturn Pluto. There is pain. But remember the example of Christ. He was crucified, he died for 3 days, and then he resurrected. I think this is exactly the same thing we are going to feel in our lives. We are going to die, and we are going to resurrect, and we are going to change our life symbolically, and we are going really to find happiness. This is what this eclipse and this planetary cycle is going to bring in our life for the next year, and I think you really need to use this power in order to feel finally complete, happy, and in tune with your emotions, which I think is the most important thing. And then we are having another eclipse. I'm going to talk first about the eclipses, and then I'm going to talk about the other planetary phenomena. We are having on the 5th of June 2020 a very problematic eclipse. The eclipse on the 5th of June 2020 is not an easy one. First of all, we have already this Venus retrograde. I'm going to talk about Venus being retrograde in the next minutes. So we have this opposition with Sun and Moon because this is an eclipse, and we have Venus being in conjunction with the Sun, and we have a T-square with Mars and with Neptune. This is about being deceitful or being finally from the others, being used, being manipulated from the others, and perhaps you're going to tell lies, but also you're going to receive others' information that is going to be a lie. The mutable signs, Geminis, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces on the second decade, they need to be really careful, especially around the 14th, 15th and the 16th degree. Also around this period you need to be close, you have to have a closer look on accidents, because this eclipse is about accidents, is about being anger, being with anger, being aggressive, going forward something or going against something. So you really need to be calm, because severe tensions and problems may arrive in your life because of your lies, or perhaps of lies that you're going to hear from other people. No matter what, you are going to feel that you are going to have some problems, and you really need to be careful of your life and how you deal with things. I think that this is a great opportunity in changing finally yourself, but also finding the truth. I have several clients that they believe that their lives they're not working. And the reason is that you are with someone that you don't love, you don't respect, you don't want him, and you stay with him because of safety reasons, money reasons, that you cannot just change your life, that you learned to live with him although you do not have a good time. This is going again to change. This eclipse on June of 2020 is going to be a serious conflict with what you've already chose to do in your life. And this is going to be big. But also, all the lies, all the misinformation is going to collapse. And I think this is the most important thing. The collapse of the fakeness. The collapse of people that they are using you and they're manipulating you and they do not respect you, and all this stress is going finally to go in its place. And although you are going to get real pain within your soul, you are finally going to be free, and you are then having multiple possibilities in doing things in your own way, which is, I think, the most fascinating things for all the mutable signs around the second decade. And then we have to go in the third eclipse on the 21st of June 2020. I think this is an eclipse that is going to bring a lot of endings. That has to do with Sun, Moon, and North Node. They are in conjunction, and they are having a quincunx with Saturn on the 0 degrees of Aquarius. That means that the cardinal signs are on the 0 degree, and of course the mutable signs are around the 29th, and the fixed signs around the 0 degree, and in the 29th of the cardinal signs, you are going to feel this pressure of changing things and finally finding what is really important for your life. This is not going to be easy, but this is a great opportunity of finding things that do not work for you and being finally happy with your new life, because you are going to change your life in this year. And I think that this eclipse is the most fundamental and the most important eclipse. And I think that this has to do with changing. But this is not, Linda, no, this is not about fear. You do not have to fear about it. You just need to understand that, you are going into ending things. And I think this is very good. This is great, because you are going to feel empowered. Hi Maria, hope you have a great time whenever you are. So 2020 is a year of changes. It is a year of getting out from a prison. You are not going to feel well at the first time, because there is nothing easy in your life. But at the same time, my friends, this is the greatest opportunity in finding finally what is really important to you. Finding your true self, being complete, developing a new sense of being. And I think you're really worth of it, which is, I think, is always very important. And then we are having the another eclipse on the 5th of July 2020. I think this is a magnificent eclipse. It is going to affect a lot the persons that are going to have planets on the second decade of the cardinal signs Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn around the 12th, 13 and 14 degree. At the same time, is going to bring rapid financial increase for the cardinal signs of the third decade. We have this specific planetary cycle which is very important, and this planetary cycle is the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction on the 23rd degree of Capricorn. And I need to talk about this because this is a very important planetary cycle. The first conjunction is going to happen on the 5th of April 2020 in the 24th degree of Capricorn. So people having planets on the 23rd, 24th, 25th degree of Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, you are going to be affected. Then we are having this Jupiter conjunction Pluto on the 30 of June 2020, and is going to happen the 24th degree also of the cardinal signs. And then we have the last hit of Jupiter having a conjunction with Pluto on the 12th of November 2020, and is going to affect the 21st, 22nd and 23rd degrees of the cardinal signs. This cycle is about money. This cycle is about reaching your goals, being successful, finding new ways on dealing with your problems, moving mountains, about being powerful, about being important, and finally using your power in a very wise way in order to succeed in your life. This is a great planetary cycle because it's going to bring you a lot of new ways, and you are going to feel really complete and happy, and you are going to recreate your life. This Jupiter Pluto conjunction is a very good conjunction because it's going to bring material happiness and a sense of being successful and complete in your life, which is, I think, the most important. And then after this eclipse we are having another eclipse, and this is going to happen on the 13th of November 2020. I think this is always about finding peace. It is a great eclipse that is going to bring a lot of joy to the people. If you belong to the first decade of the mutable signs, around the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th degree of the mutable Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, you are going to feel that you are powerful and you can change everything in your life. You are going to feel complete, and you are going really to succeed in whatever plan you are having. This is a great eclipse, and also is going again to bring money and success for the third decade of Aries, Libra, Capricorn. So I really strongly believe this is a very good eclipse that is going to bring a lot of happiness and a sense of being finally within your house, because you are going to feel safe. At the end of the 14th of December 2020, we have the last eclipse that is going to happen in the 23rd degree of Sagittarius. Although many astrologers believe that this has to do with Neptunian energies, I think that Neptune is really far from the degree of the eclipse, so this is not very important. Of course, it is an aspect of finding love, of finding passion, but also about having money. Again, the third decade of the signs of fire, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and of course the rest of the mutable signs like Pisces, Gemini and Virgo, they are going to feel successful, and they are going to change their life in just a minute. This is a great aspect and a great eclipse. But also the third decade of Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn around the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 27th, 28th, and 29th degree of the cardinal signs, you are going to hit the great opportunity. You are going to find the solution. I'm sorry, I'm a little cold today. I'm really sorry for my problems in speaking clearly. So, I think this is a great eclipse because you are going to find what is really important. And I think this is about communicating with yourself. Oh, you have on the 9th degree of Sagittarius your sun. Okay, I have in the 9th degree of Gemini my sun. Your sun is exactly opposition with my sun, so that's why you're hearing me. So, and I think that the last eclipse, one of the last eclipses of this year, is about finding what is real and what is important, and of course in changing and developing and getting out from things that they didn't work really fine for you. And I think this is really important. At the end of the year, we have this Jupiter and Saturn conjunction on the 0 degree of Aquarius. I think this is a great and a very important, let's say, cycle. It's not great because it is just a Jupiter-Saturn cycle. This is not something rare. It happens really very often. The Jupiter-Saturn cycle, it starts doing their conjunction in the Aries signs, in the signs that belong to the air: Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. This is going to bring a lot of luck to the Aries signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, but also it's going to bring a lot of joy in Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I think this is a great planetary cycle for the signs of air and fire to change their world, to develop what really happens in their life, and really communicate with what really happens within them. I think that this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is going to bring joy, success, and being complete for many people that they belong to these signs, especially for now if you have planets in the first decade of those signs, meaning from the 0 degree till the 9th degree of those signs. This is a great cycle that is going to bring success, opportunities, new way of thinking. I'm going to talk about what is going to happen to the world in my next Astrological Voyages, so I'm not going to talk today about what is going to happen in the world. I'm going to speak about how the astrological signs and the decades are going to get affected by the planetary phenomena of the 2020. But in my next Astrological Voyages show, I'm going to talk about what is going to happen in a mundane level on matters of the state, religion, science, etc. But today I'm not going to speak about that. I'm just going to speak plainly and simply about what you're going to expect according to your sun sign and your planetary decades. So this is a great conjunction. The Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is about being happy, complete, and finally getting out from a prison and finally finding a lot of solutions and a lot of new ways in bringing something new and very fascinating in your life. And Jupiter and Saturn, they work really good within the sign of Aquarius. Of course, Aquarius is an old sign that was ruled by Saturn, so that means that Saturn plays the most important role, but that doesn't mean that Jupiter is not having good time. This is a conjunction of a great opportunity for the Aries signs and the fire signs, mostly for the Aries signs, but also the fire signs are going to change rapidly. And of course, if you have planets in 29 degree of Aries, Libra, Capricorn and Cancer, or in the 0 or in the 1st degree of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo and Aquarius, you are going to have a great change in the next years because of this conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn at the end of the year in the 0 degree of Aquarius. This is a really great opportunity, and I think you're going to have really fun with that. At the end, we are going to talk about the retrogradations the retrogradations of Venus and Mars. As we said already, the eclipses till the 5th of June are really bad, and afterwards the next eclipses, they are going to bring a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. At the same time, don't forget that we have some very important retrogradations that are going to play a very important role again to our lives. And if we go in, I'm sorry, my PC really stacked. Okay, I found it. So if you go around the 13th of May 2020, we know that Venus is going to go retrograde in the sign of Gemini. This of course about bringing an old relationship in your life, finding solutions in your problematic financial matters, but it is also about making a mess in your personal life. So you have a planets in Aquarius, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo or Sagittarius. You are going to feel your life that is a little complicated and you cannot feel really well in your life. I think this Venus going retrograde in the 13th of May 2020 and is going to get direct in the 25th of June 2020 is going to affect a lot of things, but the main problem for me is the day of the 21st of May 2020, because we are going to have a retrograde Venus having a square with Neptune in Pisces. This is about being deceitful or having hearing lies from the others, losing money, miscalculation. You really need to be really careful. But afterwards, especially during June, people with this Venus retrograde, they are going to be happy, having fun, or even having a long-term relationship with someone that you didn't had a good time before. So this is always about your natal chart, because we may try to understand what really happens in our lives, but you really need first to look at your natal chart in order to understand all of this information, how it's going to affect you in your life. And finally, we have Mars going also retrograde on the 10th of September 2020, and it's going to get direct on the 14th November 2020, and this Mars is going to be in Aries and forming a lot of squares with Pluto and Saturn, and this is the problem. If you are having planets on the third decanate of Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, you really need to be careful, because you are going to have a lot of intense situations in your life, and you are going to feel a real pressure in how you deal with things. But at the same time, passion, love, increase of sexuality, finding a very passionate couple, that was here really weird. No, I don't mean couple. A passionate friend and relationship, that you're going to form a couple. I think this is about sexuality, is about having fun, is about having sex, it's about bringing your inner dimension of being complete. But at the same time, don't forget, this is a Mars being retrograde. It's about conflict, aggressiveness, fight, having very bad words with others, and also there is always a threat of having accidents, something that really needs from you to be really careful in order not to have severe problems in your life. So this is something you really need to be careful around the autumn 2020. Those were the most important and fascinating, I could say, planetary phenomena for 2020. And in the next Astrological Voyages show, I'm going to go in detail of how this is going to affect us, but also I'm going to talk about how this is going to affect the world, because Monday in astrology is really important, and we really need to understand what really happens, not with our personal life, but also in our life as world citizens. Again, I would like to thank ISA and all of the friends of the International Society of Astrological Research for having fun with me and looking at my show. I really thank you for your messages, your questions, your interest. I think it's very important, and although English is not my mother language, I'm a native Greek, speaking Greek, you really gave me your love and your attention, and I didn't felt like an alien, and I'm really happy that you really loved the show. I'm going to continue, of course, because you really give me this positive feedback, and I'm really happy about it. Thank you again. I hope you are going to have a really great, happy new year. A new year that is going to complete the most of your hopes, and you are going to feel really happy, with the most important thing always to be healthy, but also having your love of your life and the peaceful in your mind and around you. Thank you again for your time. We are going to be back again in a week. Have fun in whatever place of this planet you are, and remember to make the difference and love yourself, but also love the important people that are around you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.